You wake up on a summer morning when you're 8 years old. The day feels enormous. Breakfast feels distant from lunch. Lunch feels distant from dinner. An entire year feels almost impossible to imagine. Then something strange happens. You blink. You're 18. You blink again. You're 30. The years start collapsing into each other. Birthdays arrive faster. Seasons disappear quicker. Entire decades seem to vanish. Why does that happen? Why does time feel like it's speeding up? The clocks haven't changed. The Earth still circles the sun in roughly 365 days. A minute still contains 60 seconds. Yet almost everyone reports the same experience. Childhood feels slow. Adulthood feels fast. Scientists have been trying to explain this mystery for decades. Part of the answer begins with simple mathematics. Imagine a single year. For a 5-year-old, 1 year represents 20% of their entire life. That year is huge. For a 50-year-old, 1 year represents only 2%. The same amount of time occupies a much smaller fraction of lived experience. Psychologist Paul Janet proposed a version of this idea in the 19th century. Many researchers still think relative perception plays an important role. But mathematics alone cannot explain everything. Something else is happening inside your brain. Your brain is not a clock. Your brain is a memory machine, and memory changes everything. Think back to your first day at a new school. You probably remember details. The hallway, the faces, the uncertainty, the strange feeling of entering unfamiliar territory. Now think about brushing your teeth last Tuesday. Most people remember almost nothing. Why? Because novelty creates richer memories. The brain pays attention to new experiences. It records them with greater detail. Routine experiences receive less attention. Neuroscientist David Eagleman has written extensively about this effect. When life contains novelty, the brain captures more information. When life becomes predictable, the brain compresses information. That compression creates a strange illusion. Looking back, periods filled with new experiences seem longer. Periods dominated by routine seem shorter. A childhood summer contains countless firsts. First friendships, first adventures, first fears, first discoveries. The brain stores all of it. Years later, those memories create the impression of a long and expansive period. Adult life often looks different. You drive the same roads. You visit the same stores. You follow the same routines. The brain begins using shortcuts. Less information gets stored. Fewer unique memories remain. Looking backward, entire years appear compressed. Could memory be secretly controlling our sense of time? Research suggests it often does. In 2004, psychologist Mark Whitman explored how attention and memory influence temporal perception. His work suggested that time perception depends heavily on how experiences are processed and remembered. But there is another layer. As children, we constantly learn. Everything is unfamiliar. Everything demands attention. Language, rules, faces, places. The world floods the brain with information. As adults, much of that information becomes automatic. The brain becomes efficient. Efficiency saves energy. But efficiency comes with a cost. Fewer surprises. And fewer surprises often mean fewer memorable moments. Imagine reading the same sentence 100 times. Eventually, your brain stops noticing it. Life can work the same way. Patterns become invisible. Days blend together. Weeks merge. Months disappear. Then suddenly, another year is gone. What if the speed of life is really the disappearance of surprise? Some researchers believe that's closer to the truth than we realize. The brain evolved to notice change. Change signals opportunity. Change signals danger. Change matters. Sameness does not. As novelty decreases, memory density decreases. As memory density decreases, time appears to accelerate. The effect becomes strongest during major life routines. Steady jobs, repeated schedules, predictable environments. The calendar moves at normal speed. Your memories do not. This creates one of the strangest experiences of human life. The future always arrives one day at a time, but the past can shrink. Entire years can collapse into a handful of memories. Entire decades can become a few photographs, a few conversations, a few milestones. The rest fades into the background. Yet there is good news hidden inside this mystery. Researchers consistently find that new experiences create stronger memory formation. Travel, learning skills, meeting people, exploring unfamiliar places, breaking routines. These experiences increase memory richness. Looking back, they often make periods of life feel longer. Not because time changed, because attention changed, because memory changed, because you changed. So perhaps the real question is not why time speeds up. Perhaps the question is how often you allow yourself to be surprised. Every new experience stretches the map of your life. Every curiosity leaves another landmark behind. Every moment of wonder becomes evidence that you were truly paying attention. One day, years from now, you will look back on this period of your life. The clock will have counted the same seconds it always did, but your memory will decide how large those years feel. Time does not accelerate as you age. Your brain simply stops recording the world the way it once did. And that means the feeling of a longer life may have less to do with living longer and more to do with noticing that you are alive.